coffee. Morning folks, just want to put this in before I start the video. Make it clear I am not in any shape or form some sort of KTM fanboy. I do like the KTM, wasn't my first choice. My first choice was a Tenere T7. Unfortunately I have ridden one, which was my mate Papa Smurf's, Jonathan's, review on the channel. I didn't get on with the T7. I found it uncomfortable. I found it way too tall for me, along with the fact that his did have lowered suspension and lowered seat, mind, and handlebars were too narrow. I know I can change the bars, but it still didn't change the fact it was too tall for me. I did not feel comfortable. That's what I would have bought had I fitted the bike better. But having looked around, the only bike I particularly liked that fitted my criteria, if you like, was the KTM, which is why I bought it. No other reason. I wouldn't choose a KTM as my first choice, I gotta be honest, but I have. So as I said, from day one, I'm going to bring you an honest report of the bike. If there's an issue, I'm going to flag them up as I'm doing. I'm going to tell you how it was resolved, if it was resolved, and the outcome, to make it completely honest and fair. So those who really are genuinely interested can find out. I know there are people out there who will not listen to this at all, and as far as they're concerned, KTMs are absolute rubbish and they wouldn't touch them with a barge pole. Well, that's their opinion. I'm not saying I'm right, I'm not saying I'm wrong. This is just my experience of owning a KTM, in this particular case, my 2023 790 Adventure built in China. Okay, one other thing I've done a little bit of research by scouring the internet and forums, etc. This issue with KTM camshafts, which everybody's jumping up and down about and shouting and screaming. From the information I found, so this is what I found. I'm not saying it's right, I'm not saying it's wrong, it's what I found. The issue appears to be limited to a very small number of bikes, something like 5 to 10%, roughly, I don't know the exact figure, on models built around 2020 to 2021 models, which funny enough means they were built in Austria, not China. They are the ones with the camshaft issues, from what I can gather. There may be others outside that, I'm not sure. Apparently KTM have said they will honour warranties, etc. with certain parameters. If you haven't had it dealer serviced, etc., they will still honour it, but they're taking on a case-by-case basis. Take that as you will. I'm going to wait and see what happens with mine when it hits 18,000, goes in for a service, whether it needs new cams or not. I have no idea. We'll find out. Like I said, I'm bringing you the good, the bad and the ugly of ownership of this KTM, so those of you who are interested can make up your own minds. Right, I'll get on with the video and explain to you what's been going on. Doodles! Morning folks, how are you all doing? The observant amongst you will notice I put the taller screen back on, just trying a few ideas. You'll also notice I'm sat in neutral. It says 4th gear on the dash. Yeah, gear indicator's playing up. I took off the various sensors that are bolted to the outside of the engine and that, and gave them all a good clean, thinking it was covered in dirt. Doesn't appear to have fixed the problem. And the quick shifter's playing up. Right, saying 3rd gear and I'm in neutral. And now it's gone off. Right, 1st gear, still saying nothing. Pull away, it says 3rd. Now it says nothing. Now change down. Quick shifter's not working at all. Nope. Quick shifter blipper not working at all. Try for neutral. Yep, we're in neutral. Over revving on the down change in a second. Again over revving. Still says 3rd. I'm in 1st. Now I did say, warts and all, I would bring you all the good, the bad and the ugly of this bike. Well, that's the ugly. Or the bad and the ugly. So it looks like it's going to be booked in down at M&P's in Swansea to have it looked at, which is a pain, but hey ho, it is what it is. The other minor issue I've noticed is it appears the rear disc is quite well worn. It looks almost as if it's been run on worn out pads, but the pads are the originals as fitted by KTM at the factory, and there's still life on them, plenty of meat on them. So either they use an overly hard pad, soft metal disc or whatever, but as far as I'm concerned it's premature wear. They can change that as well. I will let you know in due course exactly what happens, or as it happens. Catch you all in a bit. Toodles. Alrighty, fast forward a couple of weeks from when we started the video. So what's happened over the past couple of weeks? Well, the bike's been down to M&P's in Swansea. Come on, anytime today. Yeah, the bike went down to M&P's in Swansea, and the technicians had a thorough look at the bike, plugged it into the wonderful diagnostic machine they have there, and no fault. No faults in the history either. So they took it for a thorough test ride and everything worked perfectly well, as it is now. This is the fun of intermittent faults. Now what we believe is, before I sent it down to Swansea, I gave the sensors another clean. Bear with me a sec. Yeah, I cleaned all the sensors again by spraying WD-40 on a cloth and giving all the sensors a thorough wipe over. Now I did check it before it went down and it seemed to be working fine, but I thought no, we'll send it down because you never know. You know, intermittent fault, it may play up again, but it didn't. Like I say, the techies could not find a fault anywhere in the system, in the history. When they test rode it, the bike was fine. Appears to be fine now. They agree there was a fault. That was obvious because I sent them a video showing the fault. Could be a while this. So if you ever have an intermittent fault on your bike, if you can, try and record it. It makes life so much easier for techies. Thank you, mate. Yeah, they know there was a fault. Like I say, we believe a thorough clean cured the issue. We believe so. If it reoccurs, then obviously it'll have to go back down. So, fair dues to techies, they do really done well. The other issue I sent the bike down for, shit. So I don't want to brake hard, so I've got new brake pads. I'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, the other reason I sent the bike down was the rear disc was showing signs of wear. In my mind, premature wear, and the brake pads have got plenty of life in them. Well, the techies did what they were allowed to do, as it were, the rules and regulations as set out by KTM, checked, measured, etc., and they couldn't find anything wrong. So they contacted, hang on a sec, let me get past this guy. Right. They contacted KTM, explained the situation to them, showed them photographs, etc., and KTM come back and said natural wear and tear. I disagree. This bike's done 13,500 miles, the rear disc is showing signs of wear, there's a very slight ridge on the outside edge, and there's still, I'd say, quite a few thousand miles left in the brake pads. So no, I disagree, it's not normal wear and tear at all, it's premature in my mind. Unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it because I'm arguing with KTM over whether or not they're going to spend money on my bike for me. So obviously they're not going to bother. To be fair to technicians, they did everything they possibly could. They checked everything. So obviously they're restricted to what they're allowed to do anyway. But, you know, as far as warranty work is concerned, the checks they can perform, and they have to pass on the information to KTM, who then make the final decision. And KTM say no. Like I say, I disagree. Not the fault of the technicians, it's the fault of KTM. But there's nothing I can do about it, so let's just move on. Live and learn, as they say. Right, what else has been happening in the past couple of weeks? Now, it's been a couple of weeks because of work commitments and such like. I haven't been able to get the bike back. Not anybody's fault, just circumstance. Yeah, what else happened during the past couple of weeks? I've had a new front tyre fitted to the bike, which I'm hoping will stop that slope puncture issues I was having. Not sure if it has, but I'm hoping it has. And I fitted brand new front brake pads. Now, the old pads still had loads of life in them. I replaced them purely and simply because I noticed, especially in the wet, or if I've been through a few puddles off-road, the pads were making a horrible noise. A very nasty sort of, almost grinding noise. So I figured it's got to be contaminated pads. To be on the safe side, set of brake pads fitted while I had the wheel off, having the tyre fitted, job done. Which is why I'm trying not to brake hard, because I have literally, first ride out on a bike, I've done, what, 3.4 miles. I got tyres and pads to bed in. Now the other little job I did while it was off the road, you may remember, quite some time ago I fitted a decap pipe, which is basically a length of stainless steel tubing that replaces the catalytic converter. The purpose of said pipe was to reduce weight and reduce the build-up of heat around my legs, because the cat sits right behind the, or just under the engine, front of the rear tyre, and it absolutely cooks your legs with the heat. So yeah, I fitted a decap pipe. Again, I will say what I said before, do buy yourself a good quality one. Don't buy, you know, save yourself 15 quid like I did and buy one from China. The fit was not perfect. I should have spent the extra 15-20 quid and bought like a Black Widow one or something. Now when I fitted the decap pipe, I also fitted the Black Widow rear silencer and link pipe. And when I first fitted them, I found the bike was a little bit too loud. Even with the baffle in the Black Widow silencer, I still found the bike was a little bit too loud for my liking. So I installed a baffle in the decap pipe. It was an old baffle, universal baffle I'd lying around the shed. I modified it, drilled a few extra holes in it to give it more flow, and then did what's known as an interference fit. In other words, jammed it on the pipe as tight as I could get it. And that's been absolutely fine since about a year, roughly. Well, I decided the other day I was going to pull that baffle out. I decided I don't want it in there. Over the past sort of year of having the pipe on here, I'm going to build up carbon in the exhaust, as you naturally do, that black sooty stuff in your exhaust. And that helps to quieten down the pipe a little. And with a build up carbon and that, it deepens the tone on the exhaust. So I figured, you know, it's quiet enough. So I removed the baffle from the decap pipe, and the effect has been a very, very slight increase in exhaust noise, but not excessively noticeable. That's certainly nothing I'm going to worry about. But on the plus side, my throttle seems to be a tiny bit more responsive. On the initial pickup, as it were, when you first open the throttle, right, let me think, I'll go this way. The very first open of the throttle seems a little bit better. I know the throttle response is very slightly better. I know the exhaust note is slightly louder, but nothing to worry about. So that's all good. Nice to be back on the big lad. Quick shifter blipper and gear indicator all seem to be working fine. Happy days. Right, that's it folks. Another minor issue that occurred with the KTM has been resolved. If you've been following the history of my KTM, gotta be careful, people fly around that corner. Yeah, if you've been following the history of KTM over the past year or so I owned him, I've been giving you all the good, the bad and the ugly. Anything that I have an issue, any issues that come up, I've talked about them to give you an overall view of the true ownership of a KTM 790 Adventure that's built in China. A lot of these owners' reviews don't mention the little bits and pieces that go wrong, or they mention everything and not the good bits. So I am giving a completely honest review, as it were, or completely honest history of this bike as things occur. So not bad going, 13,500 miles in, what would it be, August I bought the bike, we're now in November. Let's say 15 months of ownership, 13,500 miles, and the only issues I've had in total was a very small oil leak which was caused by a damaged O-ring on the top of the oil filter cap, the gear shift indicator and quick shifter playing up, which we presume, after doing Mr. Magpie, we presume was down to dirt on the sensors. Not guaranteed, but that's what we believe it was. If you want to hear more about my KTM, please do keep watching the channel. Do subscribe if you haven't already. I don't just do the KTM, I do other stuff as well. Yep, it's all working fine. I also have a Royal Enfield 650 Interceptor called Elvis, and of course my Royal Enfield 411 Himalayan, the Brian, all of which I've done silly things on. This is the one I go off-roading on now. I didn't have Brian for that, but this is the one I go off-roading on now. So if you're interested, subscribe, please do. Drop a like if you like my videos. Leave a comment below if you wish. I try to respond to all of them. I was hoping to make 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I'm on 821 I think at the moment. So I don't think I'm going to make the 1,000, but it would have been nice. Maybe next year. Who knows? So please do like, share and subscribe. All the usual. And of course folks, as I always say at the end of every video, please, whatever you're doing, be safe, ride safe and have fun. And of course, doodles! Oh, I hate this crawling along the way under the speed limit malarkey.